Hey, we're going to do printmaking for the second part of our project. So this is called Gyotaku. Sorry if I pronounced it wrong. Printmaking. And it is done, or was done, in the 1900s by the Japanese. What they would do is they would take real fish, and as a way to record them or see what type they were, they would do prints of them. We are not using real fish. These are molds. There are several different ones that you can use, but I'm going to demonstrate on the stingray. And what you're first going to do is you're going to make sure you have an apron on, because you do not want to get ink on you. It will stain. And you're going to have a tray that you're going to be sharing with somebody else, which will have some ink in it. So now, this ink you're going to use to print your fish. So I'm going to use a brayer, which is what this is, and it's just going to evenly get the ink on here. So I'm going to spread it all around so that I'm getting ink all around on my brayer. Now I'm missing some of the ends here, so I'm just going to spin it around a little more. And you don't want to have this loaded with ink, because then it'll be a little too much. And then I'm just going to take the brayer and I'm going to roll it over my stingray. So this is getting the ink off of the brayer and onto the stingray. You want to try to get everywhere on it, even those hard to reach places, because if you don't, then when we do the print of it, those areas where you missed won't show up on your print. So it might take a little, you might have to maneuver it a little differently to get the ink on here. So I'm moving it in all different directions. Get the ink on the tail too. If you need to get more ink, you may. Because you're transferring the ink from the brayer onto whatever mold you picked. Okay, I could spread this out a little better, but this is what I'm going to take it as. So I'm going to put my brayer in the tray. You are not setting it on the counter. You're putting it back in the tray. And you should have a blank sheet of paper with your name on it. Miss Miller doesn't have her name on there, so she's going to write her name on here really quick. And then what I'm going to take, I am not touching the fish. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to press it down over top of my stingray. You're going to keep one hand still at all times, and the other hand you're going to move around and press down. And that's going to transfer the ink now from your stingray onto your paper. If you miss an area where you didn't press down, well, I'm sorry to tell you this, but then it's not going to show up on your paper. Because if there's no ink there, there's nothing that can show up. So I'm just going to rub or massage all over, and you can actually see where the ink, the black ink, is transferring. Now, the reason you want to keep one hand on here at all times is so it's not moving around. Now, I'm moving mine around a little too much, so it might be a little blurry. But what I'm going to do when I'm done is I'm going to take this off and pull it off. And there is my print. You're going to take this and put it on the drying rack.